next panelist is a good friend of mine, Ray Donato. Ray and I have known each other for years, and he is honorary Consul General of the Philippines to the South. And so you have Consul General, Trade Commissioner, and Honorary Consul General. They all have different roles and play important roles, of course, in connecting us to the world. Ray started off here in Atlanta with Nisho Iwai for many years, and Nisho Iwai is one of Japan's largest trading companies. So from 1965 to 2002, he was senior vice president and an assistant to the president of Nisho Iwai. It had a sales volume of 70 billion, operated 1,000 joint venture companies, and had 165 offices worldwide, specializing in the metals industry, oil and gas, project developments, and real estate infrastructure of countries and financial asset-based lending. And Ray's done projects all over the world, has especially a strong expertise in the steel area. And as well as Consul General, he has been a great support to the Philippine community here in Atlanta. I know Dee Dee and the Philippine Chamber are very grateful to the support that Ray has given the Philippine Chamber here. He's also trade counsel to the Jamaican government. He's also now into nutritional products, and so he's a board member of AHD International. He's a board member and treasurer of the Atlanta Consular Corps, and he's board member of the Georgia Council for International Visitors, which we'll talk about a little bit later. During the Olympics, he was Olympic attaché for the Philippines here. He's received numerous commendations for his work with the Philippines and the Philippine community. And he's a very knowledgeable individual who's involved in so many things. But as with Nisho Iwai, we were talking about this. What is a trading company? 70 to 100 billion, extending all over the world. Fascinating story there. And so I want Ray to talk a little bit about that, as well as his work as Honorary Consul General of the Philippines. Ray.
Thank you, Mark. First of all, I'd like to thank TAG for inviting me here this afternoon or this evening. Of course, UPS, thank you very much for the cordiality extended to us here with my colleagues. And thank you, Mark, for allowing me to come here. I'm from the Philippines, of course. And if you notice, I'm the only one holding a mic in here. And although we didn't invent the karaoke, we expanded. If you go to the Philippines, there's a lot of karaoke bars there. And I don't know if you've heard some news going on. If you sang My Way there, you have to be very careful if you've heard some incidents of that band. But anyway, I arrived in this country in 1965 and went to school in New York, got my MBA in there, joined a trading house, one of the major trading houses from Japan, and then retired from that company about 8 years ago and started my own little businesses. At that particular time, the Philippine government did not have any representative or consulate in the southeast, the southern part of the United States, since this was a very new area about 20, 25 years ago. Atlanta was basically, I think you just had a few buildings in Atlanta. And of course now you see, and you go to Buckhead, you go to Midtown, you go to downtown, you see a flourishing of so many new and beautiful glass-made buildings. So it really has expanded. So the Philippine government asked me if I could represent them here in Atlanta and representing the Southeast, which I was honored to do so. So I started to, coalesce with them on a lot of the things that they wanted to do in terms of consular matters, trade matters, and the other things that come along with representing a government. To me, it was a great honor. Unlike my colleagues in here, the difference between a career consul general or a career diplomat is they get paid, and I don't get paid. I'm sure my colleague here gets gets paid twice, this is a trade commissioner. So I have to work my way to pay my bills, and that's why I have to have a little business here and there to at least hire a secretary to answer the phone calls, because as an honorary consul general, we basically do a lot of the functions as the career diplomats in terms of serving the Philippine American communities in Georgia and in the Southeast. I was in jail, not me personally, last week visiting 2 or 3 of my fellow countrymen. They were, they were in jail for some reason or another, but they need legal services to represent them. So one of the consular services that we do is to visit citizens of our country to find out if we can assist them in any way we can. A lot of you may not know this, but if you go to jail here, you have, because I asked the fellow, what do you have for breakfast? And he said, I have a thin, very low-grade salami and 1 piece of bread for breakfast. And 1 piece, not 2 pieces, 1 piece. And for lunch, I said, a very thin sliced salami with 1 piece of bread. And I said, and how about dinner? And guess what? It's a very thin salami with 1 piece of bread. So I said, what time do you go to jail? What time do you go out? Well, we go to jail, and that gives me a feeling of freedom that, my goodness, I better think twice before I do something wrong and break the law and go on to the other side of the spectrum. And my colleagues, I'm sure, have the same problems. That's one of the consular work that we do, visiting citizens of our country who have gone astray and have gone to jail. Another is, of course, the usual consular functions like passport applications, renewal of passports, authentication of documents. This we do daily. We normally receive about maybe 35 to 40 telephone calls a day. And you have to answer many questions about, I'd like to do some business in the Philippines, I'd like to fly to the Philippines, I heard there's a lot of things that we can do down there. And the Philippines consists of 7,100 islands. So we have many islands there, with 3 major islands, Luzon, Mindanao, and the Visayas. Could you raise your hand if you've been in the Philippines before? Anybody? There we go. So we have a lot of people who visited the country. It's a lovely country. It's warm. We have 91 million people, believe it or not, 91 million people. It used to be an agro-based economy. Lots of agriculture because it's warm. Lots of land. Of course, the golf courses came and took over some of that land. So we have a lot of golf courses. Tourism is big in the Philippines. We are competing with Thailand. Not as well versed as Thailand, but we're getting there. We have lovely beaches. The people are friendly. I married a girl from Boston. Her name is Peggy. And when we were traveling in Asia, she's an Irish American. First we went to Japan because I was employed with a large trading Japanese trading house, Nisho Iwai, which is now called Sojitz Corporation. It merged with another trading company called Nichimen. So when we went to Japan, this was the first time to travel Asia. We went there and she said, wow, what a beautiful country. Everything is so nice. The food is great. Everybody's bowing. Everybody's courteous. Such a delicate country. Very formal. We stayed there for a week and a half, tremendous time. Then we went to the Philippines. And she said, how come the people don't really stop when there's a red light? Well, I said, that's the difference. And why are the people running all over the place? Don't they have a queue in here, or is there? Well, this is a big difference. Japan is, I was explaining to her, because of my knowledge about Japan, Japan is a very disciplined society. And not that the Philippines is not disciplined, mind you, but the Philippines are very warm people, because probably we're in the southern part of the planet. It's if you go to the southern part of the world, the planet, you notice South America, Central America, the people are more friendly. It probably has to do something with the weather. So, when we went to the Philippines, she said, wow, what a chaotic country this is. There's no rules or there's no, it's not a chaotic country. This is what the Philippines is all about. It's a very warm and friendly country. We have a lot of agricultural based products in here. We have a lot of technology in the Philippines. We invented a few, but we just expanded the technologies that were made in Japan and in Australia. So we just did what they did, expanded it, duplicated it, like what China apparently seems to be doing, and then exported it to the US. If you have a Timex watch right now, that's probably made in the Philippines. If you have a Texas Instrument, it's probably made in the Philippines. If you're wearing some material right now, probably made in the Philippines. Sorry about that, but I love your ideas about that. But there are many, many things, a lot of products that are being made in the Philippines and exported to countries like the European Union and the United States. A lot of automobile parts are being made in there. A lot of instruments are being made in the Philippines. Movie industry is moving into that particular area. Rice is still grown in there. Lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, and in the last 10 years, call center operations are growing immensely in the Philippines. And the reason for that, of course, is because if you look at the history of the country, we were colonized by Spain for over 450 years. And then after that, the United States came, and we went under the sponsorship of the United States government for about 50 years until World War II. So Stanley Carnell in his book said, we had 450 years of the convent and 50 years of Hollywood. So it's a mixture of people that we have down here. So this is the country that I represent. Beautiful 90 million people. And if you ever have a chance to go there, please give us a call and we'll be happy to help you, assist you, and even do business in the Philippines. Now, briefly, the company I used to work for, Nisho EY, was a huge trading house, $70 to $80 billion in sales. My background is mostly in the iron and steel company. Did a lot of business with Australia in their coal mines in there. Did business in Brazil with the iron ore in there. Did a lot of things on blast furnace, electric arc furnace operations. And then I move on to the oil and gas industry in the energy sector. And that is where I am right now. What I did was I tweaked my profession a little bit. I now moved to the oil and gas of the body, which is basically the nutritional industry. Stevia, which is a different style of sugar. Maca, which is a fruit that gives you antioxidant. Chondroitin sulfate for the aging population like me that needs lubricants for the body. And that is the business that I'm involved right now, and it's such an enjoyable way of doing things right now, besides representing a government and mixing with the international community like my colleagues in here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.